Now, President Bola Tinubu's presentation of the 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal to the joint session of the National Assembly, initially scheduled for Tuesday 17th December, has been postponed to Wednesday 18th December. According to Senate sources, the rescheduling was confirmed by a senior management official of the National Assembly. We also understand that an official statement regarding the postponement is expected shortly. The postponed, or rather the proposed budget, is part of the 2025-27 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework approved by the Federal Executive Council last month. The framework includes plans for 9.22 trillion naira in new borrowing to address the budget deficit. It also sets an oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, a daily production target of 2.06 million barrels, and an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to the dollar. And now to discuss this, we're joined by Iniobong Usen, Head Research and Policy Advisory Budget. Ini, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to you too, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Now, given the projection revenue of 34.82 trillion naira, what are the specific strategies do you think to boost government revenue, particularly from the non-oil sources? Are there plans for further tax reforms, since that seems to be the way the government always goes each time it needs to raise more money?
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, as you're familiar with the happenings in the National Assembly, and as it would be with every Nigerian now, that there are 4 tax bills sitting before the National Assembly that seeks to do the way we, sort of collect taxes and to sort of provide reprieve to Nigerians and businesses. And so the import of that bill, when passed, a significant portion of that is supposed to, affect, government revenue collection. Even if some of that would not come into effect immediately, but at some point during the year, when these reforms have been implemented and have taken effect, we expect that to, lead to better efficiency in terms of collection, and that ultimately should grow revenues. But if I come back to the fundamentals, and I don't know why you skipped, oil revenue, because the oil revenue forms a chunk of government's revenue projection for 2024. As you know, projection is at about 21 trillion naira. And if you look at what government has generated, both in 2023 from that sector, it was 2.3 trillion naira in 2023. In the first 6 months of 2024, government has been able to do 4 trillion naira. Even if we've been able to raise production to 1.8 million barrels, 21 trillion naira, as the case may be, still seems like a tall order, in my own opinion. And so it would be interesting to see, what exactly is driving government's optimism, in that regard. Granted, there have been some new FIDs. More recently, the Shell $5 billion FID, but that's an exploration contract. And so you expect that the gains from that would begin to show, in the next couple of years, not immediate. So the gains are not immediate for those new investments in terms of the production numbers. If you also look at some of the legacy issues we've been battling, oil theft, though there have been significant improvements in the production numbers, but with regards to specific interventions to terminate or end, oil theft as a phenomenon in that sector, it doesn't seem like a lot is being done with regards to metering, whether it's the flow stations, the wellheads, as the case may be, and complete fiscalization as the case may be. This should significantly stop, to a large extent, reduce oil theft, but we've not seen a lot of movement in that regard. And so it would be interesting to see what exactly is driving government's optimism to raise, oil revenue to those numbers, as the case may be in 2025.
Okay.
Coming back to non-oil revenue, we also see that there's, a bit of optimism with regards to solid minerals revenue. As you know, we've not done more than 7-8 billion over the, over the last couple of years annually with regards to solid minerals revenue. But we see an optimism to raise it to 15 billion naira and then 25 billion naira. That's still extremely small considering the fact that Nigeria is blessed in commercial quantity with solid minerals across the length and breadth of the federation, whether it's with lithium, bitumen, gold, and the likes. But we've not been able to fully optimize or maximize the potentials of that sector, whether it's with regards to regulations or providing the right environment for capital to come in, and so that the investments can drive growth in that sector.
All right, Amy, let's talk about what the budget meets the common man. Let's talk transport, energy, telecommunications. How will the budget prioritize infrastructure development, especially in the critical sectors like I've just mentioned, transport, energy, and telecommunications? What are the specific projects and initiatives that will receive significant funding?
Yeah, thank you. We have not seen the breakdown to be able to make this assessment, as the case may be. But we've seen that flowing from even the previous administration, improving the railway network is one that the governments have invested in. But there needs to be a lot more done in that regard to be able to, increase connectivity amongst, the different states, whether it's for ease in the transport of humans or ease in the transport of goods, as the case may be. Maybe we need to begin to look at high-speed rails, because the locomotive, trains that currently exist, has, the time frame required to move from one extreme end of the country to the other, is also one that increases the travel time and, and cost for individuals and businesses. So it would be good to look in the direction of finding PPPs that bring high-speed rails to ease and increase the movement of goods and services across the length and breadth of the federation. With regards to road infrastructure, of course, with the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, there's not much information in the public, especially as it regards the budgetary provisions for that particular road. So it's difficult to assess what has been allocated, for that road through the budget, what has been spent, through that budget. And, I'm not a fan of off-budget expenditure. Government should be able to put all of its expenditure plans in the budget so that civil society, other accountability groups, the media can now use those numbers to track, how exactly government is implementing its plans and programs across board. If I come to the digital economy or telecom sector, as the case may be, in terms of policy, it would seem that that particular ministry has spent a lot of time in drafting policy documents, but we've not really seen how that has translated to real impact on the ground, whether it's with regards to providing improved digital access for persons in hard-to-reach areas, improving broadband connectivity across board. We've been suffering from poor, internet connectivity over the last couple of months from the service providers that currently exist. And so we do hope that more attention would be given in that regard on the ground to improve the quality of digital services available, as the case may be. If I come to the financial services sector, that's also one sector that, especially for the tier 1 banks that have had to move from one system to the other, customers have been going through a lot with regards to the ease of transactions. And it's good that we've had some of these fintech companies, hold the fort whilst that transition has been happening. But we do hope that as we move into 2025, they will be able to wrap up that process of transition so that banking services would become more available and accessible to customers for them to be able to transact.
Ini, I want to say thank you, and such remarkable retention abilities. You actually took on everything I asked. Thank you very much, Iniobong.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and have a lovely day.
You're welcome.